He was driving a stolen car.
How was he driving?
I don't know.
Did the call come out and tell you that he'd been driving erratically?
No.
That he was speeding?
No.
You were aware there was a high-speed chase?
I wouldn't know.
You say you wouldn't know, or was it I wouldn't know? I'm sorry, I just didn't.
Are you asking when the call came out, or if that happened at all?
If it happened at all.
Yes.
So during the course of the events, you became aware that there was a high-speed chase involving Mr. Lopez?
No, because when the high-speed chase was happening, I was laying on the ground. I had already been run over.
Okay. So how did you get notification that a Mr. Lopez was in a stolen car?
I didn't receive that notification.
How did you become aware that there was a situation?
Another officer, Officer Shekel.
He called you on the radio or contacted you personally?
Neither.
How did you become aware of it through this officer?
He got on his radio and he voiced to all officers information regarding the stolen vehicle.
And how did
Of course, he didn't know that Mr. Lopez was in it, but he voiced information about the stolen vehicle.
What did he voice about it?
He said there was a stolen vehicle occupied.
On the move?
Yes.
And then what was the vehicle doing when you first noticed it?
It was, I don't remember when I'm not sure when I first noticed it. I don't remember.
When you came upon that situation, did you drive up to where the stolen vehicle, the location, the general location where the stolen vehicle was?
To where it crashed, yes.
Okay, all right. So the stolen vehicle had crashed into a pole.
Yes.
And you saw the car that they were talking about crashed into the pole.
Yes.
And you got out of your car?
Yes.
And you approached that car?
No.
What did you do?
I got out of my car and drew my weapon.
And then what did you do?
I started giving the driver commands.
How far away were you from him?
I don't remember.
What did the driver do in response to your commands?
He backed the car up and he ran me over.
How far did he back up?
I don't know. I don't remember. He backed up and drove at me.
So
Normal distance that somebody would back up.
when the car was crashed into a pole, right?
Yes.
When you first saw it.
I don't remember when I first saw it, but that's when the situation that you're describing.
Saw the car crashed into the pole.
Yes.
And then you ran over, gave the driver some directions to get out of the car with your gun pulled, right?
No.
Okay. What did you do?
I got out of my vehicle and addressed the driver from the area of my vehicle.
Telling him to get out of his car?
I don't remember the exact commands.
Is that the general idea?
I don't remember.
Why would you have been pointing a gun at him if you didn't want him to get out?
He was in a stolen car. It was a felony in progress.
So normally would you want a felony in progress, a person in control of an automobile, to stay in the car?
Yes, for some time.
All right. When you're pointing your gun at him and yelling at him, were his windows down so he could hear you?
I don't remember.
But you do remember that he backed up sufficient distance to aim his car at you.
Yes.
And then you heard him rev his engine.
I don't remember.
Remember him coming at you?
Yes.
What happened as he was coming at you? What did you do?
I fired at him.
How many times?
3.
He's coming straight at you?
Yes.
You fired 3 times. Did you jump out of the way?
I tried.
As you're firing the 3 times, he runs you over.
Yes.
How long after the 3rd shot did he run you over?
I don't know.
Seconds, milliseconds?
Yes.
Now when you're shooting at him, did you hit him?
Yes.
You hit him 3 times, right?
I don't know.
And did you hit him in the shoulder,
Yes.
in the hand,
Yes.
in the head?
I don't know.
You think you grazed his head?
I don't know.
You were shooting at the windshield, at the driver, right?
Yes.
You're pointing your gun at him and you're shooting at him.
Yes.
What kind of gun were you firing?
A Glock 40 caliber handgun.
Is that the same gun that you had in your use as your service weapon on February 19th, 2007?
Yes.
What kind of bullets does it shoot?
40 caliber, hollow point.
What's it mean to be a hollow point?
It has, that's the actual descriptor of what it is. The bullet is hollow at the tip
Why is that?
to prevent over penetration.
And to stop the person, right?
Yes.
I mean, if the bullet stops in the person, it's more likely to stop the person, right?
Yes.
As opposed to one that goes through him. Right?
Yes.
And can you describe the actions of a hollow point bullet once it hits somebody?
It expands.
Kind of mushrooms?
Yes.
All the whole top of the bullet kind of mushrooms out in all directions?
Yes.
And it's designed to do that, right?
Yes.
It's designed to fold back.
Yes.
So when Mr. Lopez ran you over, he ran you over with his tire, right? I mean, he went right over the top of you.
I don't know. The car went over me.
I believe that you previously described when the car went over you that you could literally feel it hitting you, bouncing off of you.
Yes.
And you suffered burns from the bottom of the car as it ran you over, right?
I don't know.
You suffered broken bones because of the car running over you.
Yes.
As the car is about to hit you, are you thinking you're going to die?
I don't remember what exactly I was thinking. I was afraid.
You were afraid. You were terrified, right?
Yes.
Did parts of your uniform get torn off by the car running over you?
I don't remember.
You did get burn marks, right?
Yes.
What was broken on you?
I'm sure I won't remember everything. My pelvis was crushed. I had broken ribs. I had a fractured sternum. I had an injured shoulder.
Anything else
I'm,
that you remember?
as far as broken bones, no.
Any other internal injuries?
Other than bones, like to my organs,
Right.
no.
Okay. Is it safe to say you almost died in that incident?
Yes.
You were in the hospital for a while, right?
Yes.
How long?
I don't remember exactly. A while.
About 30 days, first time?
I don't know.
Think it was longer than 30 days?
I don't know.
It wasn't shorter than 30 days, right? The first time?
I don't know.
All right. Do you remember being in the ICU?
Yes.
An ICU stands for intensive care unit, right?
Yes.
How long were you in ICU?
I don't know.
At some point, some time later, they transferred you out of ICU into a regular room?
Yes.
And did they transfer you then from a regular room to a rehabilitation center?
Yes.
And then you went home, right?
At some point, yes.
Did you go back to the hospital before you went home?
Yes.
You had to go back to the hospital for about 9 more days,
I don't remember how long.
but it was for a while,
I don't remember how long.
more than a day.
Yes.
And that was because you suffered a pulmonary embolism?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a blood clot in my lung.
And then did you go straight home from the hospital after that situation resolved itself?
No.
Did you go back to a rehabilitation center?
Yes.
How long were you there?
I don't remember.
And then eventually you got to go back home?
Yes.
After you went home, did you have to go to rehab of some kind?
Yes.
Physical therapy I'm talking about?
Yes.
How long did you go to physical therapy?
I don't remember.
For a while though?
Yes.
Months?
Yes.
There's water just to your left if you need it. I need it, so. After you got done with after you were out of the hospital and started into the physical therapy, did you go to any counseling, any psychologist, psychiatrist?
No.
How long after that were you able to return to work?
Approximately 5 months.
When did you say when the Lopez incident happened?
No.
When did it happen?
The summer of 2005.
And then you eventually, Mr. Lopez was convicted of running you over, right?
Yes, he was.
And you attended that hearing, that trial, right?
Yes.
And you attended the sentencing,
Yes.
and you spoke at the sentencing.
Yes.
And at the sentencing, did you tell the judge that you were never going to be 100%?
Yes.
Did you mean it?
Yes.
Did you mean physically you're never going to be 100%?
Yes.
Was the Hulsey case the first time in which you fired your service weapon after the Lopez case?
Yes. I'm sorry. No, in the line of...
Line of duty.
Yes.
I mean, you went out to the range and practiced, right?
Yes.
You have a requirement to go out and practice so many shots, I don't know, is it a month or a year?
It depends.
There's a what?
There's a variety of criteria that will drive that, so it depends.
You have to qualify every so often in order to be able to carry a weapon, right?
Yes.
You have to be able to shoot accurately.
Yes.
Now, you said that after the Lopez case, you didn't talk to any counselors?
Yes.
Yes, you did not?
Yes.
After the Hawley case, did you go to any psychological counseling?
No.
Have you ever been to psychological counseling?
No.
You're kind of looking up and kind of like you're thinking about it. Is there any reason why you've got to think about whether you've ever been to counseling?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I met one time with, I guess you would describe it as a counselor, but it was not counseling.
When was that?
It was, I don't remember, before I returned to duty.
After the Lopez case or after the Hawley case?
After the Holly case.
Was that somebody who is employed by the police department?
No. Then yes.
What does that mean?
They're not currently employed, but then they were.
Oh, okay. Who was that?
Dr. Howlett?
How do you spell that?
I don't know.
Can you say it slower then?
Howlett?
Howlett? And where was he at?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Where's his office, or where was his office?
I don't know.
Where did you see him?
I met with her at the main station.
Do you remember her first name?
No.
Now, right after you came back on duty after the Lopez case, you were involved in an accident with bicycles, right?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember being involved in an accident with a bicyclist?
Yes.
When was that?
That was when I was a special investigations detective.
When was that, though?
Oh, that was a couple years ago.
Oh, just a couple of years ago, okay.
Yes.
A bicyclist came from your right side and you just didn't see it and flipped it?
No,
What happened?
the bicyclist was driving down the wrong way of the road and hit me, struck my vehicle.
Were you stopped when it hit you?
No,
Describe the scene then for me.
I was making a right-hand turn, and the bicyclist was riding on the wrong side of the roadway.
Bicycle was riding on the sidewalk?
The roadway, I don't know, on the roadway. And as I pulled out, the bicyclist hit the front of my car and went over my hood, and then tried to leave.
You didn't see the bicyclist coming before it hit you?
No,
So I take it there was no repercussions at work because of that?
no.
All right, let's move on to the events of February 19th, 2007. What time did you come onto your shift?
6 o'clock in the morning?
Was that your regular scheduled shift?
Yes,
That was a holiday, right?
yes.
Were you receiving special holiday pay because of that?
I don't remember.
Do you normally receive holiday pay if you work on a holiday?
I can't remember what the policy was when you worked on holiday, because now I don't work on holidays. I don't remember.
After you left the substation, as you described after the briefing, did you stop anybody before this incident?
I don't remember stopping anybody.
And what was it that drew your attention to the Kia?
It was speeding, and as it passed, it didn't have a license plate.
Do you realize that the speeding never shows up in any of the reports in this case?
No,
Do you recall that you told the officers at the scene when you were being interviewed that you stopped them because you didn't see a license plate?
no.
All right, would you look at the interview it has my handwriting in the top right corner, and it says interview 1. And you were being interviewed by a detective at that point, right? This is at the scene?
I was interviewed initially. I wasn't at the scene.
You remember being interviewed at the scene?
Yes,
You remember at the scene that you told the officers that you stopped the Kia because it had no plates?
I don't remember exactly how I explained that. I don't know if those were the exact words that I used.
Can you look at,
But that's one of the reasons why.
okay, can you look at page 1, lines 23 to 25?
Okay?
And in that, you're telling the officer that you stopped the Kia because of no plate.
Yes, that was one of the reasons why.
Well, that's the only reason you gave at that time, right?
Out at the scene, I don't know if I don't know.
Okay. If you turn to the other transcript, this is the interview that was conducted with you later in the day. Do you remember a second interview other than the one at the scene?
The second interview was the one at the scene,
Okay, so you remember the first interview? Okay, where was the first interview? Where did that take place?
at the Advocacy Center.
Okay, at the Advocacy Center, all right. You remember at that time telling them, if you look at page 4, lines 7 through 8, you remember telling them that the car was...
Objection, improper impeachment.
You need to set up the question. So ask him a question, and then if there is impeachment, you can impeach him, but
Did you tell the officer anything about speeding in this transcript?
Objection, improper impeachment. He's asking him about the transcript.
No, he can ask him in the end. The question is whether he told him anything in the interview about speeding. That question is proper, overruled. You can answer.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you can answer.
I did mention speed during one of the interviews, if not both.
Okay. But in the interview you're looking at here, you didn't mention speeding, right?
This whole transcript, are you asking me if speed's mentioned in this whole transcript?
No, I'm asking you on line
And
7.
on the lines that you referenced, the lines that you referenced in this document, wherever it came from, there is no mention of speed.
Okay, all right. Now, how many interviews did you have the day of the incident?
2,
And one was at the advocacy center, you said?
yes.
What does that mean?
It's a center, it's a building where detectives investigate child crimes and crimes like sex assault. It's a building where they do that.
Why were you there then?
That's where the interview was.
They take all officers who were involved in shootings to that location?
I don't know.
Did you question them why you were at the advocacy center?
No.
Did you know what it was before that time?
That it was the advocacy center? Yes.
Did you know what the advocacy center was for before that time?
Yes.
But you didn't ask them when they took you there, why they took you there?
No.
Who was there with you?
Detective Geisler.
Detective who?
Geisler?
Geisler, okay. That the only detective who was talking to you?
Yes.
Did anybody else come in or out while you were talking with Detective Geisler?
I don't remember.
Remember how long it lasted?
No.
Now, you followed this car in part because it didn't have a license plate, right?
Yes.
At the time you didn't see the temporary plate.
Yes.
And then, have you ever gone back and listened to the transcript of your call when you first notified the department that you were stopping a car?
Listen to a transcript?
Yeah, have you ever heard the call?
The radio? Yes.
You've heard the call?
Yes.
Okay, you asked for, and I'm talking about the slow roll call.
Yes.
You've listened to that?
Yes.
Okay. And in that slow roll call, you told them that you were stopping a car because of an unreadable tag.
Yes.
All right. What does an unreadable tag mean?
It's a paper temporary tag that it wasn't clear, it wasn't right, and I couldn't read it.
Okay. And that slow roll call went out after you had actually stopped, right?
No.
All right, so where were you physically when you made the slow roll call?
I don't know exactly.
Approximately?
Approximately 59th and Oregon, just west.
59th and Oregon, just west. Hang on.
I'm going to object that to defense counsel demonstrating an exhibit evidence or marked.
Want to lay foundation for that first?
Officer, do you recognize this scene?
I would request that it be marked as an exhibit.
Mark it.
I'm sorry?
Do you recognize this scene?
Well, again, as a form of, because of the record, I would ask that it be marked.
Well, let's mark it first, and then you can ask about it. Tag. Why don't you bring it over? So you probably do you want to fix it? Okay. Okay. You can give you a clip to fix it. So. Have a creative.
I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit 313. Do you recognize this scene?
I recognize that intersection.
Okay. Do you recognize this drawing?
No.
You've never seen this drawing before?
I don't know if I've seen that, no.
Recognize, if I, look at a different photograph. You don't recognize this, let's go to the photograph. I'll show you what's been marked as photograph number 308. Without showing that towards the jury, would you just tell me if you recognize that location?
Yes,
All right. What is that location?
that is part of 60th Avenue in Oregon in Glendale.
Move for the admission of exhibit 308.
Any objection?
Objection, foundation date.
Is this an accurate reflection of the corner of 59th Avenue and Oregon as you recall it on February 19th, 2007?
No,
What's different about it?
that's not 59th Avenue in Oregon.
60th Avenue, oh, I'm sorry, 60th Avenue in Oregon, right.
May I see it again, please?
Sure.
Yes.
Any other objection?
No, no objection.
Exhibit 308 is admitted.
In relationship to this picture, did you come in from the same direction as the dark car? So before you came to a stop here, you had made your slow roll call.
Yes.
When you pulled up behind the car and you got out and you approached the driver, did you tell the driver that you were talking to the driver because of a cracked windshield?
Yes.
Did you tell her also that that you were interested in her unreadable tag?
I don't remember.
But you do recall the cracked windshield conversation?
Yes, I explained the stop, and I specifically remember the conversation about the cracked windshield.
Okay. And you regularly pull people over for cracked windshields?
I don't know if I'd say regularly. No, I wouldn't say that.
So the cracked windshield was just one part of the reason you were going to pull these people over?
Yes.
Now, after you noticed the car, did you notice the car on Camelback or on 59th Avenue?
Camelback.
When you noticed the car, where were you physically?
I was on the north side of Camelback.
You were on the north side of Camelback, and the car was heading in which direction?
West.
So you're on the north side, so you're heading west. You're facing west?
No.
You're facing east?
No, I was facing south.
Oh, okay, so you were in a parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, so you weren't actually on Camelback, you were off in a parking lot.
Yes.
And a car comes by you traveling westbound,
Yes.
and then you pull out right behind the car immediately,
Yes.
and the car made a right onto 59th.
Yes.
And then after making a right on 59th, the car made a left on Oregon.
Yes.
At that point, you didn't think the car was necessarily trying to evade you. You didn't know what it was doing, right?
Yes. Correct.
The car didn't accelerate when it saw you, right?
Correct.
And did it signal properly?
I don't remember.
But you followed it down Oregon. How long is Oregon, let's see, you followed it a block, I guess, from 59th to 60th.
Yes,
And then the car took a right.
yes.
You still didn't turn on your lights.
That was at about, I'm not sure, it was at about that time.
Okay. So when the car stopped, the driver and the rear seat passenger both started being out, right?
I don't remember.
You remember telling them to sit back down in the car?
No.
You remember telling them to get back into the car?
No, because that's something that happens a lot, that wouldn't be unusual, and so that wouldn't stick out. I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. But this day, whether anybody got out of the car?
I don't remember. That would be a common thing to happen. I don't remember that.
But if the people got out of the car, would you tell them to get back into the car?
Yes,
Okay. So it's possible you just don't remember.
yes,
And okay. Then you walked up to the driver's side of the Kia,
yes,
and you had already called for backup at this point?
yes.
But had backup arrived?
No,
Why didn't you wait for the backup?
that's not what we would normally do on a traffic stop like this. That wouldn't be a normal thing to do.
Why not?
Because this was there were no threats. There was nothing that concerned me. If there would have been something that concerned me, I probably would have, but in a stop like this, that's not what I would do.
Okay. So a slow roll call is get here if and when you can,
Yes,
and if nobody had showed up, you just kept on going about your business.
yes, until if certain things, there are certain things that can trigger a change in that, and then I would have to stop and wait.
What would trigger a change?
Somebody with a warrant, somebody said, hey, I've got this gun. Somebody said, hey, I've got a bunch of drugs. I've got a felony warrant. I'm wanted. I've been on the things like that, and I don't have a backup. I'm probably just going to maybe not dig further into that or investigate that further until I get somebody with me.
You're just going to back up to your car and wait till somebody else shows up?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. So when you go up to the driver's side window, is the door open?
No.
Is the window down?
Yes.
You don't have to tell the driver to put her window down. What do you say to her? First of all, do you remember it was a woman?
Yes. However, I don't remember whether or not I had to tell her to put the window down, but I spoke with her through an open window.
Okay. But what did you ask her to do?
Nothing. I explained the reason for the stop, and we discussed the cracked windshield, and I asked them questions, and I asked for identification.
Did you ask them where they were coming from or where they were going?
I don't remember.
Do you remember if they told you why they were there?
I don't remember.
Now, let's look at the transcript of what it says, interview one at scene. Look at page 4. If you look down about line 11,
Uh-huh.
do you remember now that you asked them where they were coming from?
No.
You remember stating, I asked the driver where you guys are coming from?
No.
You remember what she responded?
No.
After looking at this, do you remember what she responded?
Oh, this doesn't help me. I don't, and to be clear, I'm not saying that wasn't discussed. I'm just saying I don't remember talking about that.
Okay. All right. Did you ask the driver for her identification
Yes.
and registration?
I don't remember.
Would that be the normal course of business?
Yes.
Were there passengers in the car?
Yes.
Where were they located?
The defendant was the front passenger, and Patsy Jones was in the back seat along the passenger side.
You didn't know her name was Patsy Jones at the time, right?
Not until I got her ID.
In fact, you didn't even know it was a woman at the time.
I don't remember. I did when I got the ID.
Okay. So when you got there, you got the identification from the two passengers, and the driver didn't have any identification.
Correct.
What did you do then?
I took down her information on a field interrogation card.
Is that something that you had with you?
Yes.
You normally carry those in one of your pockets?
Yes.
Okay. And you take people at their word when they give you information in that kind of a situation?
At that point, yes.
Did she have anything else that verified her name?
I don't remember.
Would you normally ask them if they have anything else that helps verify their name?
Maybe, it depends.
At what time did Officer Hawley show up?
As I was walking back to my car.
When you were interviewed at the scene, was it difficult for you to remember whose car was next to yours?
I don't remember.
Because of this incident or the Lopez incident or any other incident in your life, do you have memory problems?
No.
Did you prepare for today by reading anything?
Yes.
What did you read?
I read transcripts from the Lopez sentencing
Okay.
and from the Lopez, the part of that, the restitution part of that. And I reviewed part of some transcript.
What transcripts?
It was a transcript that purported to be part of my interview with, or one of my interviews with Detective Geisler.
Okay. Is it one of the interviews that's in front of you?
Well, it was not this big. It was a couple of pages.
Okay, so just an excerpt out of it.
I don't know.
You didn't bring that with you today?
No.
All right. When you were at the scene and being interviewed, you recall having a tough time remembering whose car was parked next?
No.
At the photograph, there is your car on the right, and then there's another car on the left, correct? Police car.
Are we talking about cars or police cars?
Police cars.
The police car on the right is mine, and the police car on the left is Officer Hawley's.
You turn to page 4 and look at line 25.
Number 1?
Yes, number 1. And then read up on page 5, lines 1 through 4. According to this transcript, you weren't sure which car was next to yours, were you?
No, that's not true.
You said you believed that one was Officer Hawley's, right?
In that line, and then I also make it clear based on the conversation that I know that that's his.
But based on this part of the conversation, you were said that he pulled up, then you were asked, okay, which car is his? And you said, I believe that one. And you pointed to one, right?
Yes, that one line in this says that, yes.
Okay, all right. What did you do next? Said you were walking back to your car. What did you do?
I used my computer to run a records check on the licenses and the information that the driver gave me.
What was Officer Hulsey doing?
He was standing along the passenger side speaking with the occupants.
Where was he standing?
Centered on the passenger side, centered.
Passenger side center?
Yes.
Why would he stand there?
I don't know.
Well, what are you trained to do when you are the backup officer and the main officer is back in his car? Where are you trained to stand?
Passenger side center.
Why?
So you can see all of the occupants in a situation like this, passenger center, so that you can see everything.
What's the role of the backup officer?
To protect or to make sure that the officer that requests the backup is safe.
So he is there to give protection to you
Yes,
and also to make sure he stays safe.
yes,
And so he positions himself in such a position that he can see the passengers, so he stays safe and you stay safe.
yes,
Okay. Could you hear what they were talking about?
no,
They were too far away,
yes,
and you were concentrating on other things.
yes.
Were your windows down on your car?
I don't remember.
What did you find out about the driver when you went back to your car and did this records check?
She had warrants.
At the time that you were interviewed at the scene, you didn't remember where the warrant was from, right?
I'm sorry.
When you were interviewed at the scene, you didn't remember where the warrant was out of.
I don't remember.
So what did you do then?
I ran all the records checks.
And you got out of your car
Yes,
with the intention of doing what?
arresting the driver
Why?
for warrants.
And did you have to call to Officer Holly, get his attention?
No, he looks at me.
Give him the two. And is that the signal you're trained to give when you're about to make an arrest?
Yes,
So he knew what that meant and he nodded back to you, right?
yes,
And where did he go then? Did he change his location?
no,
Why not?
I don't know.
Are you trained to change locations at that point?
It depends.
On what?
A variety of things. Something can happen inside of the car that could cause him to do that. There are things that could have happened to cause him to adjust. So I mean, I can speculate as to why he stayed there, but
He stayed.
but an officer may not always just necessarily stay there.
But he stayed there.
Yes,
And he was still in good position? Good position according to your training?
that's where I would be,
Where would you be?
where he was.
As you're walking back to the car and you know that you've got a driver with a warrant, do you take out your gun?
No,
Why not?
there was no reason for me to do that.
Okay. Do you put your hand on your gun as you're walking up?
No.
Is your gun holstered, right?
Yes.
Is there any kind of a latch over the top of the gun?
Yes.
Do you unlatch the gun at that point?
No.
Why not?
There's no reason for me to do that.
And is that how you're trained?
Yes.
And you walked up and you asked the driver to get out?
Yes.
And she complied?
Yes.
Did you frisk her right there?
No.
Why not?
I never do.
Well, when you took the front seat passenger out, your intention was to frisk him right there, right?
Yes.
But But the driver, when you took the driver out, you had no intention of frisking her? Right there.
Yes,
And so you took her back to your car?
yes,
Did Officer Hawley remain in his location?
yes,
On the passenger side between the two doors?
yes,
And he's sufficiently close to the car that he could maintain eye contact on both passengers?
yes.
Are you ever trained that a different practice would, or better practice would be to move behind the passenger door so that you could observe both the passengers, the rear seat passenger and the front seat passenger be in a position of protection?
I think it just depends on the situation. I wouldn't say that I've ever been trained to always do that.
But you have been trained at times to do that?
No, the training is, if you do what you need to do to be safe based on what's happening in the car, based on what you're seeing.
Okay, so sometimes you would move back so that you're behind the passenger, both passengers?
Yes,
And under what kind of a situation would you?
like gun in the back seat, someone to move forward to see the gun, or maybe you see something in the car that will require you to adjust your position
Okay.
to monitor that. So the circumstances will dictate that.
At this point, everything seemed calm at the situation, right?
Yes,
The driver was calm?
yes.
What did you do with her?
I asked her to empty out her pockets
Uh-huh.
and
Where was this?
at the back of the car.
Okay. What did she have in her pockets?
She had a pocket knife and a $50 bill, and there may have been some other items. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I handcuffed her, and I placed her in the back of my car.
Did you frisk her?
No,
Why not?
because she was a female.
All right. So it's just your practice not to frisk females?
Yes, if there's any way that I can avoid it, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I will not.
All right. What did you do with the $50 bill after the Hulsey incident and the Hawley incident is finished?
At what point are you referring to? After what's finished?
After all the officers arrive at the scene and before you go off to the other location, which name I just forgot,
Advocacy.
Advocacy Center, what'd you do with the $50 bill?
I didn't do anything with it.
Did you ever retrieve it?
No.
Did you ever give it to a detective?
I placed it on the dash.
If you would turn to page 7, lines 19 through 21. How did you describe what you did with the money here?
I didn't.
Here's some improper impeachment. How did you describe what you did there?
Well, he can set it up with one other question, please.
What did you do with the money?
The $50 bill,
Yeah.
I put it on the dash.
Okay. What did you do with the money according to the transcript?
I don't understand. This transcript, I don't understand your question.
Okay. According to the transcript, what did you do with the money she had?
Objection, lack of foundation, a $50 bill or the other money?
Overruled, he can answer the question.
I don't remember if she had some other smaller denominations on her.
Okay. Do you remember saying that she had money?
No. money at all, like a dollar bill and some change? No.
After reading the transcript, does this refresh your recollection that you gave? After you put her in handcuffs, you put her in the back of your car, right?
Yes.
You shut the door?
Yes.
Why did you shut the door?
That's what I always do.
Why?
So that somebody who is in the back of the car can't get out and run away.
Okay. So then you were going to you left your car and you were going up to the passenger side of the car.
Yes.
And the rear passenger had a warrant for her arrest, right?
Yes.
That was Patsy Jones.
Yes.
And do you remember where that warrant was out of?
No.
Remember what that warrant was about?
No.
Why didn't you pull her out first?
Because if I have to be as safe as I can, as safely as possible, I have to make decisions. And in my experience, a male can potentially be more dangerous. And so I wanted to deal with that first.
So if there's trouble, then the female's still in the area where there's going to be trouble?
That's not what I said.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why you take out the large potentially dangerous male first, as opposed to taking out the person that you know that has a warrant out for their arrest.
If somebody was going to come out of the car to injure me, while I was with somebody, I would prefer it to be a person smaller in stature and probably less strong than a large man.
Okay. All right. Back before you went out of your car, before you left the driver, Yoda Costas, did you have a conversation with her about her car?
Yes.
Did you tell her you were going to do anything with her car?
I asked her what she wanted me to do with it.
Did she respond to you?
Yes.
Did she tell you who she wanted the vehicle to be given to?
She did.
Okay. Did you leave the vehicle with that person?
No.
Was it your intention to leave the vehicle with that person?
It would depend. Yeah, yes. I'm just trying to think of the how the laws were written back then, because there's been some changes. But yes, I would have done that.
Were you aware whether the person she wanted the car left with had a warrant for their arrest?
I don't remember who she named.
Let me see if I can find that for you. If you could turn with me the first interview, what I written was at the scene interview, I'm sorry. Page 8. Does that help refresh your recollection?
No.
There's some reason why this transcript never helps refresh your recollection.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I don't know who wrote it.
Okay. So you're assuming that somebody just dummied up a transcript to bring it to court?
That's not what I said.
You're just saying you don't trust the transcript?
What I'm saying is I don't know who wrote this, and so therefore, yes, I'm not going to trust what some person typed up.
Okay. So some person might just type up something, make you look bad.
Maybe.
And that's what you think might have happened in this case?
I'm sorry?
That's what you think might be happening here?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. If this transcript is accurate, right, assuming it's accurate for a second, is it possible that that Yoda Costas told you who she wanted the car to be left with?
She did tell me that. I remember that.
Okay. And do you remember who she said to leave the car with?
I don't remember the name that she gave me, no.
You remember if it was one of the people in the car?
Yes.
Okay. Was it the front seat passenger or the rear seat passenger?
I don't remember the name that she gave me.
That it was one of the passengers.
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible she said that she wanted to leave it with the back seat passenger?
Absolutely.
Would you have left the car with the back seat passenger if the back seat passenger had a warrant for her arrest?
Possibly.
So if the back seat passenger had a warrant for her arrest, you would still give her the car?
Possibly, yes.
Under what circumstances?
If Officer Hawley decided not to pursue that